My name is Andrew, and I am Tech Librarian here at the DeWitt Community Library, and this is the first episode of our library podcast. First, a brief mission statement. We aim to inform, educate, and entertain our public by presenting on a range of topics related to our community and those in and beyond Clinton County. Our introductory episode is an interview with Library Director Janette McMahon. Okay, so first things first, what's your social security number? And a quick follow-up. Who do you think you are?
Well, I know who I am. It's not about who I think I am. I am Janette McMahon, Director at the DeWitt Community Library. And because I am a Gen Xer, that is a big part of who I am.
Excellent. Gen Excellent. All right. That was just a warm-up. So what are we planning on doing with our podcast? What is our purpose, our aims, and our goals?
I think it's just a new way to get information out to patrons. We hope to bring in some great guests that are outside our walls and, again, serve our patrons in a different way.
Yeah, indeed. I will say that this is not scripted.
It is not.
Yeah.
It is not.
How do we, next question, how do we get books to the patron? What are the ways that they can check out materials as well as the means of requesting?
Well, you have a multitude of ways. One, of course, our favorite is that you come in and browse yourself and pick the things that you choose. You can also call in and have books picked out for you. You can reserve online, and we'll pick those books out for you, have them ready to go. You can request absolutely through our catalog. You can request through social media, especially for interlibrary loan requests, and Eden Johnson takes care of those here at the library, and she will contact you back. If we do not have material, we'll first look at Clinton County and make sure that if there is a copy of what you're looking for, we want to get it to you as quickly as we can. And if it is in Clinton County, we can get it to you within a day or two very quickly. If we have to go out and about, Eden does a fantastic job of making sure her next level is also as close as to us as we can to hurry along that process. If it's on the other side of the state due to funding cuts of the IMLS funding at the federal level, interlibrary loan has only one drop-off a week versus two, and it makes it go from what used to be a 2 to 3 week, now it can be actually up to 6 weeks if you're getting something from Sioux City. Something I do want to make note of is that with these funding cuts and changes to interlibrary loan, we do not have courier service with any of the academic libraries anymore. Big hit to us. So what that's forced libraries to do is start charging for those interlibrary loans. DeWitt has an $8 flat fee for interlibrary loaning from academic libraries.
Gotcha. Okay. And I guess patrons are more than welcome to request new book purchases as well.
Absolutely. And those can be done online, through our requests. We get a lot of messages through Facebook as well, and those are answered. And again, anywhere through the front desk, you can talk to any librarian. What they do is write it down. We decide whether we're going to purchase it or interlibrary loan it. Honestly, now we purchase more than we had even on those requests. But as a director, my goal is to make 50% of what comes in the library patron-based requests, so that, yes, we have 25% automatically are those requests, and then another 25% are based on those requests. So if these are being requested, okay, then these are the next level that they might enjoy, or these are connected. So that ends up being about 50% of our collection is based on patron requests.
Excellent. Okay, cool. Very nice. All right. Next question. What are some upcoming events?
We are very excited. Hometown Christmas. Since I've been here, we have really gone all out for Hometown Christmas. If you haven't noticed, the library is forced to enjoy Christmas as much as the director does. We we do a big to do the night of hometown Christmas. It's for the entire family. It's activities, it's fun, it's just a lot going on.
Yeah.
We also will be having the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, which registration has I believe is open now, or will be open soon. I think after November 1st, where you can come and have a tea party. There is a registration fee of $10 for that. It is a Friday afternoon, so please watch our website for that registration link. We ask that kids are 8 or older to come to that program. It has limited seating, so I do suggest watch our calendar, watch our website, and get registered as soon as you can if you are interested in joining us. We have some, of course, pop-up programs on the weekends. Just check the calendar to find out what those are. It ranges from crafts to jewelry to discussions to whatever we're going to do. They range. I will say I'm super excited for January this year. We have a full rollout of our Community Readers Co-op.
Very nice. Wait, have we done that before?
We have not. This is a pilot program.
Excellent.
And it's a way to help, in our opinion, the reading statistics for the rates of literacy from small children clear up through adults. So I'm very excited about that. So be watching for a lot of those advertisements. We're kind of keeping it under wraps for another month yet before all of that is ready. Because, of course, we're right now getting ready for Hometown Christmas. We also are very excited to announce that we were approved to show screenings of Ken Burns's American Revolution that will be on PBS. So we will be showing 2 screenings and then having discussion. The first, and they're on Monday nights in January. They are the 2nd and 4th Mondays.
2nd and 4th Mondays.
And I apologize, I don't have those dates off the top of my head, but I know they're opposite the City Council meetings. So we're very excited. The first one we'll talk about Washington's leadership. We'll talk about the theory behind and why we had the American Revolution. Kind of put things into context, look at it today, and do some comparisons, some talking. I hope we have great discussion.
Yeah.
And then
any questions or any coverage on his wooden teeth?
Right now we're talking about his leadership, and maybe he grit them so bad he had to have spares. I'm not sure. The second discussion will be about faith and freedom. So we'll take a look at the role religion has played in our country in its 250 years, from the very start to different changes over the years to what we have today. So we're very excited to announce those screenings. Again, watch our calendar for the specific times. You will not need to register for those programs. And we feel they are most appropriate for upper middle school through to adults. There is nothing inappropriate about them. It's American history. But sometimes discussion can get a little heated and may not be the most appropriate for small children.
Indeed, yes.
So we do recommend that they're upper level, intermediate through adult. So those are some very exciting things that are happening right off the bat. Right after Hometown Christmas, we go right into some heavy duty stuff for the fall, or the winter.
And maybe that Cheshire Cat will come roaming in and speak a little bit about faith and freedom.
The Cheshire Cat at the DeWitt Public Library is child friendly.
Okay.
He is not doing what some of the original illustrations show.
All right.
He is child friendly at DCL.
Child friendly.
Yes.
All right. Why and how are services changing for libraries nationally, statewide, locally? What does this have to do with broader societal structure changes?
Oh, that's a loaded question right now.
Yeah.
Currently, we still have yet to find out whether we have federal funding this year. Of course, we are in the same boat as a lot of other organizations and departments and at the federal level, because IMLS, which is the very small library department at the federal level, was never approved for funding. We were supposed to be discussed, and then they went on vacation or didn't do their job for a week, and then they came back and then shut down the government when we were supposed to be discussed. So we know that we are anticipating some changes and some things that we are watching out for. Right now it's a whole lot of we don't know. Yeah. We just know the money's not coming in. Yeah. We have changes, of course, at our state level, and right now we're just not sure where we're all going to land and what some of the new requirements on taxation is going to be. And of course, anytime they change how the city has to, what they give paid to the state, what growth, there's so many variables into that that are done at the city level that is very complicated. And they need those answers from the state, and they just don't have them yet. Yeah. So there's a whole pot of what libraries call we don't know pile. Yeah. And so what we do know is that we are already, as we are getting ready for our budgets already, we already know we're getting increases to supply magazines. For those of you that use Libby and magazines, DeWitt's getting an increase of $375 just to maintain magazine consortium, because of the instability of IMLS funding. Yeah. So those are happening. Of course, we all know costs have not remained the same. So those are all trying to be managed. Yeah. We don't know if costs are going to continue to go up. Books took a hike, because remember, books are not made in the United States, so there's some issues, and getting them here, who makes them, and tariffs, and there's just a whole round of stuff.
That brings in the whole other industries too.
Exactly. We also lost one of the library's longest book vendors, people who supply us materials, just failed. So you're not too big to fail. That whole idea of you're not too big to fail. They failed and went under. So libraries have also then. I don't feel we scrambled. We just moved to someone else and are getting our materials for our patrons. So I've seen other libraries be a little more scrambling and being a little more upset. We had already looked into it. We'd had supply chain issues, for 6 months since tariffs started to be talked about and implemented. So we had already made some switches, which made our switch even easier because we'd already started to do that. Yeah. But all these factors play in to what we need to do as a library. Yeah. And right now we're just trying to maintain costs, and we're trying to guess where they're going to go. Yeah. Because we have yet to finish out IMLS and where it's going to go. Yeah. Remember, Iowa that was at $4 million, so that's a lot of money to lose.
Yeah. Which that I think kind of partially or for all the way answered my next question: what can communities do, and what have they been doing to not only cope but build from this? Of course, like you said, switching to another vendor, the programs you had mentioned earlier, the not Faith and Freedom, but the American Revolution.
Absolutely.
Programs like that are a means of providing information.
Well, and I also think that we're talking about, and I can't say enough how fantastic my colleagues in Clinton County are. This is not just happening this year. Yeah. Libraries have been fighting at the state level and the federal level for intellectual freedom as well as budgetary. Yeah. So this is not new. We've been dealing with this. This will be the third year that has been really strong. And we're seeing status quo budgets, which, by the way, are budget cuts, because never have costs stayed the same. Yeah. So that means our budget goes less and less. So, which is pretty much what we had. It's pretty status quo. Yeah. But I will say in Clinton County, we have been doing better with sharing our resources. Number one is Clinton County Union Cat, which we all then pay, minus Clinton Public Library at this time. But the rest, the smaller ones in DeWitt, we're all on the same system. We share those costs. And we are already thinking about that next level of sharing more collection development, which has already started. Yeah. Meaning DeWitt doesn't buy 3 copies of James Patterson's newest novel. I buy 2 copies, a large print and a regular. Because after a couple of circs, Wheatland's is sitting there, and DeWitt can use Wheatland's too. Yeah. because it moves fast, and we're looking at ways to better utilize our collections as a whole, and we're now thinking more as a unit and how our money can go farther in order to serve our patrons. And that's what we have to do right now in order to keep the quality that we demand here in Clinton County where we want it.
Yes.
It's serving everyone.
Totes and the goats. It's been a while since I've said that.
There's probably not too many reasons to say that.
No, there isn't. All right. Moving along. What is a significant or a couple of significant changes in libraries today as opposed to when you began? Or,
How far back you want to go? Because I have been a library director for, well, let's just say
30?
A little over 30 years, yes. A little over 30 years. That's over half my life. I've been a public librarian. I was a business librarian for 6 months. Absolutely hated it. Went back to the public sector.
You were a one-person band in a park for a while? Was that?
No.
That was Mary Poppins.
That was maybe. No, business librarian, and that was not my thing.
Where was the business librarian?
It was for Buckle Down Publishing. They at the time did a lot of your test prep for your like your ACT, not your ACTs, is like what used to be basic skills test, and now I think they're ITEDs, or I think is the new name for them. But they did your test, your No Child Left Behind test books. And I created the catalog for all the phrases and the images, because they would reuse them depending on the state they were working on.
Okay.
And so we built that.
Cool.
And I was there to help with research, which I prefer public librarianship. It's much more exciting, and day to day we don't know what brings in what falls in the book return.
Yeah, was it?
Or what walks in the door.
That seemed like it was pretty. Was that a
Boring.
pretty kind of? I don't know, maybe more predictable routine. I don't know.
100%, and I prefer
more routine based. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, day to day it was the same. And I was a one person, so in my space. No, definitely prefer the unknown in the public sector.
Floating out in the
floating
socially.
And there's nothing wrong with saying happy kids at story time, and or dealing. I actually really like working with middle school and teenagers with that programming. I actually do, and that's where DeWitt is like the perfect size library.
Yeah.
I am a professional. I am the director, and I do all that stuff. But then I can sneak out, and then I can go ahead and still interact with the public.
Yeah.
Which after 30-some years, I know exactly the size of library I like. I have been in very small, and then I've also been the executive director for a county system. So that was bigger than I wanted. I never got to be on the floor.
Yeah.
Never got to really interact with, quote, the people that come in and use the library.
I was going to ask.
And this is where DeWitt falls perfect. I get to do both, and I can do it both to my best abilities.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get to choose now.
Very nice.
I've been to very small, and this is the perfect size.
Yeah. Which I guess brings me, we're kind of, I don't know, this is kind of going backwards, which I don't know, makes sense in a way. It's a little bit nonlinear, but it, lastly, how and why did you get into libraries?
I honestly never thought that this could ever be a real person's job.
It's pretty abstract, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always a library user, and I was always that kid that the library staff had to wait for her dad to come pick her up, because we didn't live in town. And they didn't stay open every day late. When we say late, we say 5.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if they were even open until 6. It might have been 5:30, I think. And my parents had to come out of town to come pick me up. But I could stay after school. And I got to know Mrs. Nipert, the librarian, very, very well.
Yeah.
And as a kid, the person seems older than they actually are, right?
Yeah.
So I got to keep that in mind. But it was a really small library, and I'll never forget that, they didn't really have YA books then. They were kind of at the end of juvenile for the upper teens, and they had just really started, and they were mostly romance.
Yeah. Read a lot of romance when you were...
because they had the whole series of state names, and then they did the girl names. So there was, there wasn't a lot of choice.
Were they on Kern style, like Or those?
It depends. They had one,
Racks.
but they put them on the shelf because there just wasn't a
Oh.
lot. And so I was a ferocious reader, and so I was ready to move to adult, and I had to get my mom's permission.
Mm-hmm.
And the librarian helped me pick it out. And I'll never forget, the first book she picked out for me was A Lantern in Her Hand by Beth Streeter Aldrich.
Excellent.
It's historical fiction.
I recognize the last name.
Yes, Iowa, Nebraska area. Fantastic book. I'll never forget it. I have had it for book club numerous times because it is very well written. Right along with Helter Skelter. And that was she made sure I had my mom's permission to read, which my mom was pretty open. Read what you want. Let's talk about it if you want to. Yeah. So I was very fortunate in that aspect. But then I'm the kid who would wait on the steps for her dad, and Mrs. Knipers would tell me I get to stand in the foyer till my dad showed up when it was snowing.
Nice.
So I was that kid, and we have those kids here. And so I know those kids. They're my peeps.
Yeah.
And then when I became a library director for the neighboring town years later, I was like, I can actually get a job at a library, like for real?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yay, yay. And I had, and then you realize that Mrs. Knipert was not really that old.
Yeah.
She was probably in her late 40s, early 50s max. I mean, probably 40s. And she was my colleague now. And I'll never forget her always reminding me, Janette, you can call me Dolly now. You don't need to call me Mrs. Knipert. And I said, I don't think that's possible. And so that's a weird thing to have happen when you go from a kid using the library and all of a sudden you become a colleague.
Yeah.
Even though it's years later, she was retiring and she stayed at the library a long time.
Yeah, I imagine it's kind of a little bit similar to the relationship like with a parent, like when you realize, you can actually like talk about different things or be friendlier or be friends.
You're on a different level. You're on a different
or,
level.
I don't know, some aspect, yeah.
And then what's really strange is when you've worked I was in West Liberty for 20 years of my career. And when that makes sure that you're long enough, that you've had kids in story time or in your elementary, middle school programming, they're then bringing their kids in at that time. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been there long enough. Kids, those kids that I served were bringing their kids in, which is very satisfying. And then when you recommend somebody you had in your middle school programming and high school programming, and you're recommending them for your library board.
Oh, wow.
Or you hire some of them.
Yeah.
But I had someone who grew up in my library, and she was fantastic. She was so involved in the community, and I invited her for the library. I said, you make a great board member. That was a weird thing. She said she never thought she'd be, quote, member. The board as a whole oversees the director. And then she goes, as part of that overseeing you're my, she goes, Or the kid who comes back in with a kid going, I'm sorry, Mrs. McMahon, I'll behave today. And it's like, well, I hope so. You have your child with you.
Yeah.
I'm not kicking you out today, am I?
Is that the snowball?
It was a snowball event. Yeah. Yes, snowball event. And so it's those things that make it really interesting. And you can really see the impact that libraries do have.
Yeah, totally. Excellent. Well, I think that concludes our first official episode of our library podcast.
Wonderful.
So thank you very much for doing this.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Indeed.
And in the next episode, we will be interviewing Kat Clower, where she will discuss her area of focus and her new DeWitt business, Hearing Care Services. She will be giving a presentation called The Ties Between Hearing and Memory Loss at the DeWitt Community Library on November 17th. She will also be here for our Memory Cafe program on November 13th. With that covered, join us every other week, where we are bound to discover.